Welcome everybody. This is going to be this is part two. So last week we covered some material. We're going to cover the rest of that material here this week, and we're going to put it all together. But I got to ask you, are you guys having fun on these calls? What do you think? You enjoying these? Should we keep these going? Yeah? All right, cool. Hey, can I ask all of you a question while I have you? Let me ask you a question. What do you love about private money lending? Like if you're a lender type, like what you like about private money lending. I'm just curious. This is just a fun exercise. And if you're a borrower type, what you love about private money lending in the chat. What do you love about private money lending? Relationship based. All right, cool. You like the idea of a community, right? It's not just maybe you're not just a number or something like that. Good environment, due diligence, you can pick your own deals, you know where your money's going, the passive income. Oh, that's a good one. What I'm doing is helping people again. I love it. Yep. Yep. All right, cool. Yeah, this is awesome. And a lot of you are saying, I imagine what you're saying, what you love about Private Money Club, which is good too. But what do you love about the idea of being a lender, about being a borrower? I think it's important to understand, like how it's reciprocal here, and I always like to ask my lenders what they love about private money lending, because then I can focus on that aspect of the business for them, right? Cindy says being at the top of the food chain. Yeah, the tallest buildings in all the cities are banks, right? So now you're acting like the bank, which is a good idea, I suppose, right? I had a student reach out to me, and she said she wrote the nicest text message, and I thought this was really cool. She had just funded 3 or 4 deals within Private Money Club, and she loved, and whether she realized she was telling me this or not, it was such great insight. I thought it was really cool. She loved empowering people to go out and do these deals like that. I thought that was really cool, like, and a great way to grasp that this is a win-win type of scenario. She was empowering people to go out and flourish within their real estate investing businesses, which is awesome. So, all right, good stuff. All right, here we go. Diving right in. Welcome everybody. This is week 4. No, week 5. We're on week 5. Is it 4 or 5? I'm losing. I think it's 5. Week 5 of the Quickstart webinar. So anytime I teach the webinars, you guys know this. I'm big on disclosures and disclaimers. We practice this stuff every single week because it's risky, right? We want to be educated when we're talking to lenders. Lenders, you want to be educated when it comes to what you actually are lending your money in, right? And we want to create these great win-win relationships and situations. So one of the things that we talked about week 1 was surrounding ourselves with business professionals. So I'm not an accountant, and I'm not a real estate agent, a contractor, financial advisor, or any of those things. However, I would highly recommend, if you're going to be successful in this, whether it's a lending side of the business or the borrowing side of the business, you go out and you find those pieces. You go out and align yourselves with these people so that they can help you be successful within your real estate investing business or within your lending business, right? That's an absolute no-brainer. I share case studies throughout these webinars. If I share a case study of this is how much a lender made, this is how much we made, just know that every single piece of real estate is unique. Every deal is unique. Nothing will ever go exactly how it went for me, right? You could make less, you could make more. Everything's going to be different. And your results are on you, in your education, the deal itself, and the team you surround yourself with. I think you guys get this, but this is really important. We don't like to just skip over this stuff. And today we're talking about one-on-one private money lender meetings. It's important to talk about the risk in your private money lender meeting, because I promise if you're the borrower, your lender's thinking about it, all right? Your lender's thinking about what's the risks here. Let's talk about this, right? And how you plan for those risks, how you plan for things to go wrong, how you have safety nets and safety nets and safety nets. Okay, so great. Let's dive into it. So I see a question in the chat. How do we create our profile? I have some teammates on here. I'm sure of it. I might have Michelle. I might have Joel. I might have Jose. If you are here on the PMC team and you are in the chat, just say hi real quick for me if you can. Say hi to Alma. Alma, if you're like, how do I create my profile? I will have the team put a link in the chat where you can get on the phone with them and they can help you do all that stuff, right? Absolutely, we'll take great care of you. And if I'm riding solo here, then I'll make sure that I post that link for you at the end when we do our Q&A session. All right, cool. What's up, Dan? Hey, from Colorado. Here we go. If you're just tuning in for the first time, my name is Noah Harris. I'm a real estate investor out of Columbia, South Carolina. My goal for you is a 100% track record when it comes to borrowing and lending. That's what we work on here each and every week. Private money lending, of course, it's asset. The asset is so important. What you're lending on, what you're providing as collateral, right? But I would consider this to be relationship-based lending. So on these webinars, I'm going to teach you how to present, how to talk, the fundamentals of private money lending, and so much more. It's going to be a really good time. We're having a great time with this already. We're going to keep going with this. Got the green light from Chris that we're going to keep doing these weekly webinars, but this is relationship-based, right? So use this opportunity as a networking opportunity. Private Money Club itself, I'm telling you guys, is such a great pond to be fishing in, no matter if you're someone looking to put your money to work or if you are in fact looking for money to fund your real estate investing deals. This is the place to be. I always like to get a good feel for who's on the call. So participation is always encouraged. You guys are doing an awesome job. I can't even keep track with everything that's being said in the chat. So I'm curious. We're going to do our weekly roll call. If you are a borrower, you're a real estate investor, and you would love the opportunity to put someone's money to work at nice interest rates and have it secured by collateral that's worth more, you're a borrower, just type borrower in the chat. All right, Mary's the first one. All right, love it, love it, love it. Oh, Lynette's on the call. All right, awesome. What's up, Lynette? Hey, if you are a lender and you want to put your money to work, double-digit rate of returns, have it secured by real estate, and you're looking for a community where people know what they're doing, type lender in the chat. There's some of my favorite lenders and lender students coming through there. That's awesome, guys. So every single week we do this call at Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We start on time. We keep this real estate related. Lots of opportunities within Private Money Club for different types of assets and investing opportunities. We're talking real estate. So if you're here to learn how to fund a fix and flip, a rental property, short-term rental, mid-term rental, small multifamily, maybe some land deals, you're in the right spot. All right. So welcome to everybody. Participation's encouraged. If you have questions, make sure you go down to the bottom and you just ask them in the Q&A box. I can't keep up with everything that's in the chat. I can, however, at the end, go and answer questions, and I'll stay on as long as it takes to make sure all your questions get answered for you here today. I'll take a break probably halfway through and answer some Q&As or take a peek as they pop up. Here's the deal with questions. If it's a question that can benefit the whole group, then I'll answer it right away. If it's a question that's very specific to a deal that you're looking at or something like that, then I'll just say, hey, hang out to the end and we'll answer your question that's specific to you at the end. All right. PMC team is in the chat, so you guys can say hi at any time. If you want to hop on a call with them, and if you're like, hey, where do I fit into all this? Like, how do I take control of my money? Like, everyone here seems to have a plan. I don't know if I have a plan. We'll put the link in the chat at the end to make sure you guys can connect with us, create your profiles, help you get coaching if you're looking for it, and anything else that the team might be able to assist with. All experience levels are welcome. If you are brand new to real estate investing or to private money lending, you're in the right place. You're going to learn how to do this the right way from the start, right? If you're a salty veteran like myself and you've done a bunch of deals already, fantastic. You're in the right place. Maybe I give you a couple golden nuggets. Maybe I give you some things to work on, teach from a different angle, something that you can incorporate into your real estate or lending business, right? So everyone here is welcome. All right, cool. One of the things that we're going to cover here are really like the 4 pillars every single week that we cover are how do we build credibility, create clarity around what we're doing. And really, if we have the first 2, the confidence seems to always come. And then the community side of it too, which you guys are vibing. Hey, we are at 100 participants right now. I don't think we've ever cracked 100 on this webinar. So everyone give yourselves a 2 clap. This is awesome. So great job, guys. I'll tell you what, if you've been on this call before, can you just type me? Like if this is the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th or 5th time that you've been on this webinar, I just want to give a huge congratulations and shout out to every single person that's typing me right now. This speaks volumes about you and who you are as a person and as an investor and as a business owner. My wife, I can hear her through the wall right now. My wife is on the phone with a personal trainer. Okay, so Christy and I are coaches in real estate. We big believers in coaching, but we practice what we preach. So in you know, we were parents. You guys know how it is. We're business owners. We've got the Peloton in the closet. I'm looking at a treadmill on the floor right here, a walking pad in my office, collecting dust. We have weights and ropes and all this stuff throughout the house, but we're still out of shape. And there came a point, Kenya's laughing. There came a point where we're just like, you know what? We need a fitness coach. We need a health coach. So she's interviewing health coaches right now because there's something about holding yourself accountable, showing up that actually leads to results. So we have coaches all throughout high school, college, and when we're kids and stuff. Why don't we have coaching when we're older? At what point does having a coach become something that we just stop doing, right? So she's on the phone. I can hear her hiring a personal trainer because we got the money tank coming up. You can't show up to the money tank soft, you know what I mean? Especially if your face is on the website. So we're getting in shape for you guys, everyone that's coming to the money tank. But here today, we're getting in shape with our private money knowledge. So I just want to say congratulations to everybody for being here today. That's really awesome. This is how we look at this. This is a weekly session. We're working out. We're practicing our private money lending working our muscles, our memory muscles, and every week we're making moves and growing, right? So last week we threw up some action items, things for you to do, take control of. I'm sure many of you practiced your fundamentals. I know Steven said earlier in the chat that he did. Many of you created your profile. I have some new accelerator students, or maybe you hopped on the 3-day virtual. We've got the live event coming up. So last week we gave you some action steps. We're going to give you some more action steps here at the end of the call today. All right, cool. Fundamentals. Here we go. We're running through them. The idea here is that you know this stuff so easy that when you see it, maybe you get excited because you're weird like me and you like to practice the fundamentals of private money lending. Or maybe you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this again. Great. Either way, that's a win. Because our goal when I share these next 3 slides is that you're able to repeat these just without even thinking, like subconsciously, like, we breathe and blink without thinking about it. Well, I'd like for you to be able to tell everyone in the world what a private money loan is without thinking about it, right? It's a loan secured by real estate. And the 4 little words that are magic words are just like a bank. Just like a bank. When we use just like a bank, describing how we lend, describing how we borrow, the light bulbs seem to go off. Steven, I'm curious if when you had your private money lender meeting today, did you use just like a bank? Did you use that verbiage at all? Or was he already one of your lenders and he knew what he was doing? He knew he was just like the bank, right? Are you using this verbiage? Loan secured by real estate, just like a bank. He already lended. All right, cool. He gets it. All right, so show me the money. So let's talk about interest rates. Hey, we pay anywhere. What's so sexy about this? We pay anywhere. This is me. You guys plug in your numbers. We pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest, right? For our fix and these are that's like a fix and flip type of example. Each opportunity is unique. Okay, so I'm showing them, wow, 8%, not bad. 12%, double digits. Now we're cooking. All right. So what's so great about this? Not high interest rates. Why do we pay high interest rates? Because we have to move quickly. We have to act fast. The properties that we're borrowing money for, lots of times they need work. They need to be fixed up, right? And so kind of a give and take on that is that we're willing and able to pay a higher interest rate than if we were to go to the bank or something along those lines, right? All right, cool. What we provide as lenders, every single class, we're gonna hit these real quick, right? What do we provide? Promissory note, a mortgage or deed of trust, personal guarantee, and we list our lenders on the insurance, just like a bank would want. And as you're explaining this to people within or outside of the private money club community, if you can use the analogy, hey, remember when you bought your house? These are the same documents you signed when you bought the house that you live in. Only now you're the bank. And just watch the fireworks, watch the light bulbs start to go off, and people are really going to start to understand and get it, which is awesome. All right, cool. Everybody got this so far? Is this starting to become a habit? Are you laying awake at night, looking up at the ceiling, and reciting the documents that you provide your lenders? All right. All right. Awesome. Good job. Way to go. That's what we like to see. All right. Cool. Show me the money. Hey, who's writing up these promissory notes, and who's writing up our DOT and our mortgages? Who's doing this stuff? Are we printing this off online and then filling it out at home? No, right? The lawyers, right? Here in South Carolina, we use real estate attorneys primarily for our closings. In North Carolina, we use title companies who also work with real estate attorneys. But the point is, licensed business professionals are drawing all of these items up, right? Take it off of our plate, give it to the professional. That's what a real entrepreneur would do anyways, right? All right, cool. You see Mark Cuban. If Mark Cuban's doing a business deal, he's not the one writing up everything. His attorneys are, right? So if we're thinking and acting like entrepreneurs, why are we going off and printing something offline that we hope is right and hoping that it all works out, right? So we want to make sure we have the documents are prepared and recorded by licensed professionals. And if we can get really good at this, I love saying this stuff to people, right? As a real estate borrower, where else can a real estate investor borrow all the money that they need to fund the deal without having to go to the bank, right? My wife and I are refinancing our house. I'm like dreading it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to, I luckily I have everything organized in a Google folder and I can send it over to them, but it's like, this is going to be like a 4-week process here. It's crazy, right? I almost want to just use a private money lender to do the refi. Where else can a person put money to work at a great interest rate and have that money secured by an asset that's worth much more? So these are the things that we love about this. This is what makes it unique. Now there's a lot that can go sideways, and that's why we're on the webinars. We're learning about this. We're talking about this. But big picture, here's the benefits that we want to practice so we can get really good at setting appointments. Okay, so last week we talked about how to set up or what to talk about during a one-on-one private money lender meeting, right? The idea here is you're on Private Money Club, or maybe you're out networking within your local real estate club or something like that. But if you're in Private Money Club, you can post your deals, you can post in the forum, and the idea here is to set up a meeting. Whether you have a real estate deal that's hot and ready to go, or you just want to start meeting people so that when you have one, you can act quickly, right? And get things moving. Start your relationships now, looking for the borrowers and looking for the lenders. Make your posts, set up the meeting, right? My friend Jamie Miller, he always says, Noah, the only thing you should be selling is the next step, right? So remember that as you're talking to people. If you're just meeting someone or just having conversations with someone about lending or what have you, always think about what the next step is, and that's what you should be selling, right? No one's going to say, oh, I got my checkbook with me. Do I write the check out to you for all the money that you need for your real estate? No, it doesn't work like that, right? So let's set up a meeting. And last week we started discussing exactly what that meeting looks like, right? The goal is to set up the appointment. So we talked about these 12 key talking points. We got through the first 6. So take a moment, take a snapshot. If you're on here for the first time, take a screenshot, take notes, write these things down. You're definitely going to want to have a pen and paper for this session because I'm going to give you some really good notes. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to go grab some notes and a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. If you're driving, we'll watch the replay later, but this is going to be really, really, really good. All right. I'm so excited. I have a 19-year-old son. Can you believe that? My 19-year-old son is getting on the airplane right now. And he is flying in to visit, so I'm really excited. So, even though he's 19, you still got to make sure he got to the gate. You know what I mean? It's like, oh god, if it was a girl, I'm sure she'd be fine, but because it's a boy, you got to make sure they're not distracted. Get to the gate. All right, cool. All right, so here's the steps. So here's what we're gonna cover. Here we go. Yeah, you are old enough to have a 19-year-old. Yeah, yes, I am. All right, cool. So here's the thing with this checklist. This is a checklist that I use every single time. I keep them handy. It's probably the only thing I print out on that printer over there, my private money lender checklist. And here's the thing with the checklist. If you weren't on the last call, I'll share this with you and I'll reiterate it for people who were on the call last week too. I would take this checklist with you to the private money lender meeting, to the one-on-one meeting, and I would be proud that I have it. Don't feel like you're being, if you're new, that it's like it shows an experience or something like that. I would simply say, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, do you appreciate having systems and being organized within the business? And of course, they're going to say yes. And you're going to say, fantastic. To help me do both of those things, I have this checklist here. I'm going to make sure I cover everything that's on this list and then some to make sure that you have a productive meeting, right? And they're going to say, fantastic. All right, great. Love it. All right, awesome. Done. Okay. All right. So bring the checklist with you. I think it's his brother. No, it's definitely my, okay, here we go. This was the first half. We talked about the warm up, establishing rapport. We talked about setting the agenda, telling people what to expect during your meeting, and then doing what you told them to expect. By doing what you told them to expect, you're building credit as a person with the person that you're meeting, right? Hey, this meeting's going to take 30 minutes. Don't take 35, right? Stop at 30. Why? Because you said it was going to take 30. Think about this. This is someone that's going to be expecting you to do things that you say you're going to do, to follow through, right? So these are little things that we can do to show that we do what we say we're going to do. Bullet point number 4 under agenda was really important. Nothing is perfect. I'm going to run through this. I'm going to talk about everything that we do, how we do it, why we do it this way. Nothing is perfect. We do our absolute best to make sure things go as flawless as possible, but nothing is perfect. Why do we do that? Because people are going to be looking for the imperfections. They're going to be looking for the holes. At the end, they're going to be asking questions. And that allows us at the end to say, hey, remember when I told you nothing was perfect? Well, here's a good example of that. If the market dips by 10%, or we can't sell the house for 300, we sell it for 290, here's what happens, right? And we explain to them how we operate and do business, okay? Current investments and goals. This was really important. It's okay to talk about money at a private money lender meeting, right? That we're both there to make money. Let's talk about money. We like asking questions about what they do for a living. It gives us an idea of who they are as a person, how they like to be communicated with, things that they might value, their time freedom. Maybe they liked the analysis of the deals and the numbers and the spreadsheets, right? Based off of their jobs, we can kind of get an idea of what their goals are, right? What do they love about real estate? This is a fun question. People could invest in anything. Why do they want to be private money lenders? Probably because they like real estate. So let's find out what it is that they like about real estate, and then we'll serve that up on a silver platter when we're communicating with them about how the progress of the project is going. Okay. Company overview. We talked about having our personal story, any past experiences. You guys are all in the private money club. Those of you that are taking accelerator coaching, you are accelerator coaching students. That carries a lot of weight within the private money club community. So just know this: if you are part of a group, a part of an educational program, you hired a coach, be proud of that, share that. If I'm the lender and there was a young man a few weeks ago named Josiah. I don't know if he's on the call or not, but he shared that he was in Chris Naugle's like meetup, like group, like boardroom, I think it was called, or something, right? And so when he said that, I was like, oh, this person he probably knows what he's doing because he's in the same networking group as Chris Naugle. So that carries a lot of weight, right? So be proud of that stuff, guys. And if you have a track record, share it. If you don't have a track record, here's what you would say. Our goal is to build a 100% track record with our lenders. All right? That's the goal. And that's a great way to start and a great way to build credibility, even if you haven't done anything yet. And then we talked about business model, buying criteria, and such. So what types of properties do you buy? What types of properties do you focus on? What areas, what zip codes, what neighborhoods, what types of homes, what's your exit strategies, things like this, okay? And having a buying criteria is really important. Okay, so that's everything we covered last week. And we are all caught up and ready to go at 1:26. So that was awesome. So we got 34 minutes to crush this, you guys, and move on to some new things. All right, what's up, Jose? How you doing, man? Good to see Jose in the chat. Okay, cool. Now let's get into this part of the meeting. We're probably like halfway through the private money lending meeting, and we're now starting to kind of talk about what we pay and how we pay our lenders. Okay, so I'm teaching this from a borrower's perspective. If I was a borrower talking to a potential lender, what would this look like? I think people tend to make the mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake, but maybe it's just for me, I've noticed that talking interest rates right in the beginning doesn't always work out the best. I think to build a good relationship with a private money lender, it's about your business model. It's about all the things that we talked about before we get to the interest rates, right? And so from a borrower's perspective, I would much rather have my lender feel like, oh wow, this is definitely someone I could see myself and want to work with here in the future before I say the interest rate. Because if they're thinking, gosh, this person seems to have it together, they seem to know what they're doing, they have a plan, they have systems in their business, they have a specific buying criteria, I like this, right? They want to work with me. And then I'm going to tell them the interest rate. Well, it's 10% for my fix and flips. Oh, dang, I was hoping for 14. Well, they want to work with me, right? So now we have a little bit more leverage if we talk about interest rates at the end. On the flip side of that, if you're a lender and someone's presenting and you're having meetings and things like that, wouldn't you want to get a feel for who the operator is for this project and who you're lending your money to essentially before you talked about interest rate? Because if you feel as though this person is a little bit riskier, then you're going to crank that interest rate up a little bit, right? If it's someone who's relatively new, then they're going to pay for that being inexperienced by charging a little bit more, right? So I think interest rates are usually something that should be discussed middle of the road, if not at the end of the meeting, okay?
You ever feel like you don't have control of your real estate business or your money? That's right. The big banks and the institutions, they're in control, right? I know you felt that before. Private Money Club puts you back in the driver's seat. As members often tell us, it's a total game changer. Join the community of like-minded lenders and borrowers by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
But let's talk about how we pay some of our lenders and the different types of interest rates that we provide. For when I'm explaining this, I like to say, hey, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12%. And I know that's a good range, but I'm anchoring 8, I'm capping at 12. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do 14 or 13. I did a deal last year at 14% interest, but it has to be the right deal, enough profit on there, and right, there's things that have to go really, really well for me to present that opportunity to someone. So if I start low, I start at 8 to 12. At 8%, that could be rental properties, that could be some cash flowing stuff that I would like to keep. So, and then 12% is really the max that I want to pay. And sometimes what I found is people are really happy meeting in the middle at 10, right? So for me, as I'm explaining what this looks like, I'm going to go, hey, we pay our lenders anywhere from 8 to 12%. Each investment opportunity is unique, right? Each investment opportunity is unique. So there's some things that you can kind of use and figure out what you're comfortable with. But I would give them a range. And then I like to explain kind of like what the lien position type looks like and really what that is. Some people might not even understand what that is. So I like to be able to tell them larger amounts are more often than not going to receive a first position lien. Smaller amounts we may not need, or if we do use a smaller amount, there might be a first position, a loan here, and then a second position underneath it. So to give you an example, I just explained to you my buying criteria. We're role playing here, right? My buying criteria is this, guys. We buy houses for 100, we put 50,000 into them, and then a person's $150,000 is secured by an asset that's worth 250, right? I'm just giving examples here. So I have some people who want to fund the whole amount because I'm paying them great interest, so they'll fund the entire 150. We have some folks who are comfortable, maybe they only have this much, or that's what they want to start with. They'll fund the purchase price amount, which would be 100. And then we have other folks who, for whatever reason, maybe this is where they're starting at, maybe this is what they're comfortable with, maybe all their other money's working in other deals, and this is what they have left in their IRA. They'll fund the rehab costs, so maybe they'll fund 50,000, right? So essentially what I'm doing is I'm showing them 3 different options here, doing the whole thing at 150, doing just the purchase price, doing just the repair costs, right? But if someone were to just fund the repair costs, chances are, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, they're going to have a second position lien. So there's going to be a first position, and then there's going to be a second position, right? If for some reason, or this is how it works anyway, when we go to sell the house, they're going to make sure that you're taken care of first, right? Anything that's left over goes to the second, right? If we go to refinance, you following me here? So I'll spend some time. You guys probably understand the lien positions. I don't have to go too far into that, but I'm gonna spend some time explaining that to them, and what are the benefits of going first position versus second position. Most of the loans, and then terms, right? Let's talk about like length of loan. Most of the time, what I found is I always do 12 months, unless it's like a rental property, and I'm I'm going to do like a 3, 4, 5 year type of loan opportunity for a lender. Most of the time, especially when I'm explaining private money, I'm explaining it in terms of 12 months. And I like to explain it in terms of 12 months for a couple different reasons. Number one, that's how we do things. But number two, if we explain it in terms of 12 months, it's very easy to explain how the interest works. So on my fix and flip types of transactions, I'm going to be paying, let's just say 12%, and the length of the loan is going to be for 12 months. 12%, 12 months. It's annualized interest, meaning if I hang on to a person's money for an entire year, perfect year, one whole year, they're going to earn the full 12% interest. If I fix up that house, put it on the market and sell it at month 6, that means that person's going to earn 6% on their money, right? Not the full 12. They're going to earn 6% in 6 months. Now the goal is to put it right back to work, right, and keep that money working for them. But what I found is if I teach it at 12% in 12 months, everyone seems to really grasp the concept quickly, right? Which is a good thing, right? And I always like to ask people, what their lending goals are. So if someone's lending goals are monthly income, then I can let them know, hey, that's fantastic. What we do is we pay interest every single month. If you want your interest every month, we can pay your interest every month to help you with that mailbox money goal that you have. So it's important to find out what their goals are, because we can absolutely structure the loans around whatever they're looking at, whatever they want to achieve, right? So that's important to ask them what their lending goals are, and then we're going to go build a product that's perfect for them, right? All right, cool. I'm going to hit the Q&A real quick, and then we'll dive back into documents and protection. All right, cool. Is it recorded? Yes, this is recorded. Can we get a replay? I know they post them on YouTube afterwards. Does PMC provide blank promissory notes for member borrowers? I believe they do, Seth, but I really think you should just go have an attorney draw one up for you. Someone asked if PMC provides blank promissory notes for the member borrowers. I believe they do, and I believe they have example mortgages, but I would absolutely recommend having someone else who you hire, like counsel, attorney, title company, do that work for you. Any offer discounts available to join the PMC membership? Seems like they always got something cooking. That's a great question. Jose can probably, the big thing about this, you guys, I'll tell you, just talking to students and kind of understanding who is getting the most out of Private Money Club, is they have this thing called Blueprint, where you actually hop on the phone with someone like Jose or Michelle, Joel, Xander, and they basically figure out what you want to do, and then they help you create that, right? Maybe it's lending, maybe it's borrowing. Like there's different things that they have for different people. Obviously get in the club, but there's different, I would have them, the word is Blueprint. So if you get on the phone with a Private Money Club person, just, hey, I want to take control of my money. Can you help me draw up a blueprint? And I'm sure they can show you all the different things that are unique to you, right? You might be interested in something that another person might not be. You might not even know that it even exists. So I would talk to the team and have them say, hey, I want to take control of my money. I want to get on a blueprint call, and they'll take care of you. But yeah, they always do deals on PMC, I'm sure. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. We're not there yet. All right, documents and preparation. So I'll share with you kind of like what I do, and then what I might recommend, what I've seen work well, and things like that in regards to this. But Here's our fundamentals. What separates this? I always like to talk about the documents after I explain the rates. And I like to do this because it kind of seals the deal from like a sales perspective. Like, again, where else can someone lend double-digit rate of return, have it secured by an asset that's worth much more, right? That's like the blanket statement. That's like my big picture thought process. And then this is like the details of how that all works. So I'm kind of following that same framework for selling. It's just I'm just going in further in detail, right? We pay our lenders these great rates. So when I share with someone that we pay them double-digit rate of return, double-digit interest, they're like, oh my gosh. But then sometimes, I always wonder if people are thinking like, oh, is this too good to be true? Like, is this for real? Is this legit? And so I love to be able to come back around and seal the deal with the documents. Yeah, just like a bank. Same way you bought your house, we do the same exact thing. We provide you with a promissory note, a mortgage or deed of trust. We list you on the insurance. We even provide personal guarantees, right? And then I'll kind of get into what that closing process looks like. So we talked a little bit about this last week, but I'm going to hit it again because people always ask me, again, this is why it's so important before you start doing all of this. Who's your real estate attorney? Who's drawing all this stuff up, right? I got my friend Steve on here, and I bet if I was like, hey Steve, who do you use for your closings? Steve had a meeting today with one of his private money lenders. I bet Steve has conversations routinely with his real estate attorney that is like, hey, I have private money that I'm funding these deals with. If my private money lender needs a promissory note, a mortgage, personal guarantee, if he needs these things drawn up, can you assist him with that process? And I'm going to bet that this guy, Harry, is his name really Harry Marsh? Harry Marsh is going to take care of it for him, right? Harry Marsh is going to take great care of him. So I do the same thing. So I use a company here in Columbia called Bell Carrington. My real estate attorney is Andrew Montgomery, and his paralegal is Marcus Gammon. And I know these people by name, and I want to find a good real estate attorney or title company that I feel as though when I refer my lenders to them, they're going to have a great customer service experience. They're going to pick up the phone. They're going to respond to their emails promptly. It's not a company that gets overwhelmed or rattled, or how people can be sometimes, right? So this is a good group. And so what I do, once I found my people, as I'm having conversations with my lenders, I'll say to my lenders, how it works. You're more than welcome to use your real estate attorney. But remember this, guys, lots of times people they've never done this before, right? Or maybe they've never done it before in South Carolina, right? Where I live, right? My last private money lender was in Hawaii. And before that, she was in New Jersey, right? So they're like, gosh, I want to make sure I'm doing this the right way. So I introduce them to my attorney, and my attorney, I'm sure, has them sign something that says that they represent me, but they can do this for them, of course. But it's state specific. They know what they're doing. They're drawing everything up the right way. And so what I'll tell my lender, I'll say, hey, I'll take care of the costs because I do so much business. It's a reduced cost. I'll take care of the cost, and they can draft everything up for you, right? And I'll introduce you to them, and we can create the relationship, and I'll open up the lines of communication. And then at the end of the day, if you have a real estate attorney back where you live, and I would recommend that you have them look over what we drafted, make sure everything's good for you. And people love that. They love it, right? I'm making it so easy for them to say yes. It's like, gosh, I mean, I'm doing everything for them, right? Taking care of them, right? And that's important. So, and then I'll explain the closing process. And this is really fun because we got, we don't have cameras on. Okay, cool. That's okay. The closing process. So if you've done your job and you've done a fantastic job at explaining all of this, right? And you've really taken them up the staircase, right? You're not jumping. You're not reaching. We're not being the guy on the right there, right? Reaching for it, trying to, one step wonder. It doesn't happen like that. If you're taking them up the progression the right way, if you get to the closing process, people should be like, I'm ready to go. Do I make the check out to you? Like, what's the next steps? Tell me what the next steps are. And if someone ever says, all right, great, do I wire you the funds? This is an amazing opportunity to have fun, but then also educate your lender, right? And this is what you do. If you had your everyone at home, just hold your hands out like this, right? Can you do this for me? Just hold your hands out like you're telling someone to stop. Okay, right? Stop, and then you're gonna shake them like this, and you're gonna go no 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 no, right? It's like, do I make the check out to you? No 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 no. Are you guys all doing it? Are you all doing it? Practice it. All right, Courtney raised her hand. I'm assuming that's one of these, right? No 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 no. All right. But you know that if someone's like, all right, what do I send you the money? Like, how does this work? You did a great job. All right. But that's when we reel them back in and let them know that we do everything super professional, right? This is an amateur hour. Everything gets wired to escrow, gets wired to the real estate attorney, right? And everything's handled from there, right? They're not wiring you funds. They're not writing you a check or anything like that. That's not how we do business. Okay. Yeah, no. All right, perfect. Yeah, we send to the title company. Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be steps within there to verify and all of this stuff, right? But right now it's big picture, keeping it big picture. We're having the meeting. We're getting people excited to work with us, okay? And then we're going to get into the commitment. And this is really important. Sometimes I don't think this is probably a skip step in lots of instances, okay? This is probably a skip step. So why commitment is so important. All right, cool. I see Jose posting the blueprint links in there. Yeah, like Private Money Club. If you're like, I gotta get in this thing, click that link there, the same one that Jose just posted. This says Blueprint 1, and schedule a call with the team. That they're all about helping you take control of your money, and there's different things that they can recommend to you that you might not even know Private Money Club does, which is awesome. Everything's custom here, which is nice. Here's why commitment is so important. Commitment is so important because the last thing that we want for our sellers, okay? So as real estate investors, the last thing we want for our sellers is to let them down. So you got to think about this. So as real estate investors, we buy houses that are mostly distressed. It's a distressed seller. The house maybe is behind on property taxes. Maybe the person is facing foreclosure. Maybe the house is vacant and it keeps getting broken into and it's just a headache for the current owner. Maybe people are selling because they have a job transfer and they need to sell this house and get the money so they can move cross country to take on the next chapter of their life. So there's a lot of reasons why people are motivated. But when they come to the real estate investor and say, you know what, I trust you to get this done, help me sell, to buy this house from me. Those are big expectations. So I'll always have this talk with the lender where I'll say, hey, if I bring you a deal for funding, all I ask is that you say yes or no. And if you say yes, you stay committed and you mean it, right? It's okay. I've got lots of people. There's lots of opportunities. I'm in Private Money Club. I can find other people. But if you want to do this deal, just, be upfront with me. Be honest, sincere. 100% commitment is what I'm looking for. And this is what I say. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the seller. Because the last thing we want is 24 hours before we're supposed to close on the property, you to get cold feet, and then the seller be the one that gets hurt. Because they were supposed to move. They needed the money for this, that, and the other. We were hoping to stop a foreclosure from going on their credit report, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's a great way, guys, to show the seriousness of it. I don't care about the money. I can go talk to anybody and get the money. That's easy. Money is the easy part. I care about my seller. They can't afford to wait another week while we rewrite paperwork for a new lender, right? And if you have that talk up front, I think it's going to be, it's going to pay off in the long run. Okay. Communication is really important. 107 in climbing on the call. This is fantastic. All right, cool. We're learning. Is that good? You like that little commitment play there? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, I got to know you're in, not for me, but for my seller. I want to make sure they're taken care of, and people will respect that every single time. And then we're going to get into money. I created this little, I just kind of explained it to you, but I'm going to share it with you again real quick. I created this little way to get around having to say how much money you want to put to work. Now I don't care. I always ask people, hey, how much do you want to put to work? What's your goal? You know, you're talking 100, 200, 500, a million. What are you working with here? And but when I first got started having conversations with people, I don't know, I just felt weird talking about money. So what I did is I actually would explain my business model to people, and then I would have them choose where they wanted to start. So if I buy houses for 100, again, I'm just giving you an example of my business model. If I buy houses for 100 and I put $50,000 into them, that means I need $150,000 for the deal. That's how we do it. So some people will want to lend the whole 150. Some folks will want to only lend just the purchase price. Some folks will only want to lend for the repair costs, right? So these are three different amounts where people tend to start: 150, 100, and 50,000. So then I would ask people, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, where do you see yourself starting? Which one makes the most sense to you? And then they lots of times, and they'll just tell you, oh, I can do the 150. I want to do the 150 because you're crazy. You're paying me 12%. I would love to make 12%. So I want to put as much money as I can to work at the 150 mark. Oh, okay, cool. Right? Or they'll say, oh, I can only start at 50. That's how much I have right now left over in my IRA, and that's what I can work with. Okay, great. Right? So I just have people pick where they want to start, you know, and I would follow that up with a question, and I would ask them, okay, great. So if someone says, hey, no, I can do the 150, I say, fantastic. I would follow it up with a question: how many of these are you comfortable doing at the same time? How many are you comfortable doing at the same time? And you'd be surprised what people say. They might say, oh, I can do two. Okay, great. Cool. Now I know that person has 300,000. That's kind of how I did it before I got really comfortable. Now I just come out and I'm saying, all right, great. How much do you have to put to work? Right? But if you're just getting started and you're like, you know what, I feel kind of weird just like being so blunt and straightforward, do the three ways, right? And practice explaining that. I think you'll have some fun with it. And I like to confirm the amount available. You got to do this, you know, and you got to have these conversations up front. There's been times where we've you know, when I was first getting started and we didn't really talk about money too much or goals, but people are like, oh, this sounds fantastic. I love this idea. You know, I'd be like, all right, great, here's a deal. And then they'd be like, oh, I only have $5,000. And I'm like, oh, well, this is this is 150,000, right? And it was kind of like that awkward, like, whoops, like, how did we not communicate that? So it's important that we confirm the amount that they want to put to work, okay? And then I see some questions here, and then we'll get into next steps. I got 10 minutes, and then I'm going to, I got to head out and pick up my son at the airport. All right. So someone's asked, what about the earnest money? Earnest money. Well, I usually do my own earnest money. You know, I guess you could borrow earnest money. You know, depends on the different types of transactions or what have you that you're doing. You know what I found? Yeah, you could lend, like, you know, like wholesaling or whatever. Like if some people are like, I don't have 10 grand for my wholesale deal or whatever. Yeah, you can make a lot of money lending on earnest money deposits. Maybe we do a training just for that in a few weeks, right? Just talk about that. That's absolutely. You know, it's interesting here where Christina, what I found is when I'm talking to the sellers, lots of times when I'm talking to sellers, you know, they just want to know that you're gonna perform. And only if there's a house that I'm like, I need this house. We have to have this house. Will I ever do a high earnest money deposit? Most of the time, it's like $1,000 or less, even on like $400,000 or $500,000 houses, because I have so much rapport with the seller. You know, I'm talking to the seller directly. To us, the earnest money is just a formality to get the contract and the title work started with the real estate attorney. I don't make it a big deal unless it's a house that I'm like, we really want to buy this house. But if I do that, I'm going to let the seller know, hey, look, here's the deal. I'm going to give you a butt ton of earnest money because, you know, just show you how I'm going to communicate that. But most of the time, I'm not even communicate that. I send over the contract and it's usually like couple $1,000 tops, which is good. But we could totally do a training on how to lend earnest money deposits for wholesale deals if you want. That would be fun. All right, cool. Next steps. And then I'm gonna tell them. So you're gonna be faced with one of two scenarios. Okay, one or two things are gonna happen at the end of this meeting. You're either A, going to have a real estate deal that can get funding, that's ready to be funded, or B, you don't have a deal yet. You're just having the conversations with people and trying to build some really good rapport. Good news is, if you have a deal or if you don't have a deal, then the meeting went well. If someone's like, okay, great, is there some, when can we start all of this? Hey, fantastic, I've got my lender, I've got my my perfect loan proposal packet here. Here you go, it's ready to go. All the details about the property, repair estimates, all this stuff. It's all put together for you for your review. If you want to check it out, let me know within the next 24 hours. If you want to fund this deal, let me know. Okay. If you don't have a deal yet, which is going to happen all the time, I would just say, fantastic. Look, we have remember, this is where the buying criteria comes into play. We have a very specific buying criteria, right? Remember, I think we did this training like week 1 or 2. We have a very specific buying criteria. Well, you know, and you covered it probably already in your meeting, right? Maybe you taught them the formula. Maybe you talked about the zip codes, the number of bedrooms that the houses have to have, or whatever, right? They got to meet your numbers. Mr. and Mrs. Lender, remember, we have a very specific buying criteria. We are making offers every single week. If that's accurate, right? If you're making offers, let them know. We are making offers every single week, and we're waiting for the right offer to hit. We don't want to force anything, right? Our goal is a 100% track record. We are not buying houses just to buy them. We're not buying houses and paying retail prices. Anybody can do that. Our goal is to keep your money safe and keep us safe. So we have a very specific buying criteria. We've made X number of offers this week. We'll make X number of offers next week until we find the right deal for us, right? And I will keep you in the loop to what's going on. And people are gonna be like, all right, sounds good. Now you got to follow up, right? You got to set a reminder. Hey, in 2 weeks, if I don't have a deal, make sure I reach out to my lenders, make sure that they didn't go with somebody else yet. Make sure that they know that I'm working hard in my marketing and with my real estate agents, making offers, right? Just keep them in the loop. Okay. So those are the next steps. It's easy breezy. Okay. If you got a deal, great, present it. If you don't, let them know you're working hard, but you have a very specific buying criteria that you're trying to make sure that your deals meet. So it might take a little while, right? You're not winging it. Cool. So I'm going to open up the questions in the Q&A here. Okay, cool. Is it usually the lender or the borrower that comes up with the promissory note? Ultimately, how I do it, Seth, again, I'm introducing my real estate attorney to my lender, right? So, and think about this, like when you went and bought your house, you know, the bank had their mortgage, they had their promissory notes, they had everything, you know, they sent it over and it was probably like this thick, right? You know, the borrower didn't produce that, the bank had it. So ultimately, as the lender, it's going to be your responsibility to figure all of that out. Okay. But as the borrower, I like to facilitate that to make sure that they have everything that they need, if that makes sense. So like ultimately it's going to be on the lender because it's the lender's money, right? You got to make sure this stuff is done. And from like a technicality standpoint, like as the borrower, we provide the lender with a mortgage. We give the lender the mortgage essentially, but the lender is going to be the one that's like, okay, is this done how I want it? So on and so forth, if that makes sense. All right. So to help facilitate it all, I like to make sure my real estate attorney team is queued up. They're ready to go for any of my new lenders. I introduce them to the lenders and then they work together to make sure that it's what the lender wants, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, cool. Does my real estate attorney need to be in my state where I live to draft documents and review documents, or can they be an attorney in any state for this? I think what's probably important, Jennifer, is just, and I would definitely I would have an attorney on your team wherever you live that can overlook everything. Like if I were lending on a deal in Florida or a different state than where I live, Whatever I was going to have the borrower sign, if whether it was probably going to be prepared by someone down in Florida, I would have my guy look over it. So I think it's important that you have someone on your team locally that can check things out for you, make sure everything is good, right? But then I would see a lot of benefit having a real estate attorney drop the documents where the deal is. That might be beneficial, right? If that makes sense. So it's good to have someone on your team, of course, but then I would also make sure that wherever the deal is that I'm lending on, like that promissory note, the mortgage or deed of trust is state specific. There might be things in there that need to be in there, right? Yeah, Leah, you can ask your borrower to recommend another attorney to review your documents. Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. Yep, she's done that. Perfect. Cool, cool, cool. All right, great questions. Great questions. All right, great. Oh, here's a good question. Should you confirm assets for a personal guarantee? What if the borrower has no assets except a personal residence? That's a great question. So Chris Naugle is really big on financial statements and having them send over a financial statement, signing the financial statement. And again, you are the bank, Jennifer. So if you wanted to see bank statements, ask for bank statements. If you wanted to, if they say, "Hey, I'm an experienced real estate investor," ask for these things, right? Show me your properties. Show me your REOs, right? What do you own right now on an Excel spreadsheet? Let's see what you got. I would highly recommend, and I'm excited for this, you guys. I don't know, many of you might not know this yet. Many of you, I'm sure do, but Private Money Club has an underwriting service that they just started. I don't know if it's out yet. It's in the works. It's in the queue. Like they're like foaming at the mouth. We're so excited for this. So what I would do, Jennifer, is if I was a lender and I was lending to someone in Private Money Club, I would say, "Hey, look, this deal looks fantastic. Before we move forward, I'd like to work with Plus One." That's the name of the service, PLUS Plus One. I would like to have Plus One take a look at it, and I think it's like $750, and they will underwrite the person for $750, and they will underwrite the deal for $750. So it's $1,500. So if this was someone you didn't know, or maybe you were working with them for the first time, Jennifer, I would say, "Hey, this deal looks pretty cool. Everything seems to check out. I would like to have confirmation through the Private Money Club's affiliate Plus One underwriting service, and just to make sure everything is what you say it is." And I would make the borrower pay for that. I wouldn't, as a lender, I wouldn't pay for that. I'd have the borrower pay for that, right? Especially if it's like the first time you guys are doing business together, which is super cool. So here I am, like teaching, like I'm more like the communication, the sales, big picture guy. I'm a real estate investor, done this a bunch of times. I'm not an underwriter, but to be able to say, "Holy cow, Private Money Club has its own underwriter now," service that they recommend, that's a beautiful thing, and that's in the pipeline, and it's going to be really cool, right? So if they have no assets, I mean, here's the deal. I'm sure you go through the court system, the judge is still going to have something that they come up with where for the next X number of years, they got to pay you something. The idea here is with the personal guarantees, lots of times when you're lending to an LLC. With the personal guarantee, the owner, the manager, operator of the LLC, whoever's signing the paperwork, is also going to be personally liable. So it's an extra step just to show your seriousness. And if you did have to go down that route, I guess you could go down that route. A couple more questions, and I gotta head off to Charlotte to pick up my son at the airport. Which websites do we go to find our real estate deals? Man, there are so many. Chris, I think you're in the accelerator program, right, Chris? I remember seeing your name. We can talk a lot about that more in depth. But there are so many different ways to find the market for real estate deals. If you're a lender and you're looking for deals to lend on, Private Money Club, you right there on like the homepage, they have the deals listed there that you can lend on. Okay. Do I come with a promissory note, and if the lender doesn't like it, they will let me know? Yeah, if the lender doesn't like it, they'll let you know. Seth, for sure. But I don't, at the end of the day, here's the thing with promissory notes. I don't see why someone wouldn't sign a promissory note. Hell, you have to sign the promissory note. I mean, that's the terms of the loan. How are you getting paid? What interest rate? How are you being paid back? Like, that's lending 101. And if you don't have a promissory note, then you might as well just be doing handshake deals. And we don't want to do that. Maybe you're thinking personal guarantee, but if someone's not willing to do a personal guarantee, I probably wouldn't lend them the money, because if someone's going to lend you their life savings, the least you can do is sign a piece of paper that says you're going to pay them back. I mean, hello, like, that's a no-brainer to me, personal guarantees. What is the best way for a lender to back out without generating bad feelings? I think in this day and age, like, if you're looking at a deal and you're like, I feel kind of weird about this, my gut is telling me don't do this, the documents that Noah's talking about aren't being presented. I'm not sure if this is a good idea or not. I would tell them that. Just be upfront. Like, let them know. Like when you're dating someone, like, hey, this is a relationship website, right, for money. Well, it's like a relationship. Hey, look, here's the deal. Seems like you got some spunk. You got some great ideas. At the end of the day, this is what I'm looking for. As a lender, you need to have a policy, right? And this is one of the things I teach in the accelerator class. By the way, accelerator class, next one starts on Monday. But as a lender, you need structure. You need a policy. Hey, in your profile on Private Money Club, it should say, here's my lending criteria. I require this. I require this. I require this. And if we can do these very simple things, just like a bank, we could have a great relationship together over the years. All right. So you got to make sure, hey, if you're not feeling it, let them know why you're not feeling it, right? So that they can learn. It's okay to back out. It's your money. It's your money. Yep. Okay. One last question. Does this webinar cover seeking a home equity line of credit? I'm in need of one. My house in Texas, the credit. Yeah. I'm not going to too much about if you're seeking a home equity line of credit. Like, if you wanted to use Private Money Club to meet someone that would do a home equity line of credit or do like a second position on your house, you could probably do that. We're not going to talk about that right now, Kathy, but you could hop on a call with Jose or the team and try to get some help that way with the blueprint and seeing if anything that we offer could help you get some extra coaching. If it's just a normal home equity line of credit, like I would start off with like going to who you bank with now or one of your small local community banks and see with a great credit score like that and a good amount of equity, as long as you can make the payment and your debt to income ratio is good, I don't see why they wouldn't give you a home equity line of credit. But if you wanted to go the private lender route, it's up for discussion, right? Okay, cool. All right, guys, I am signing off. Real quick, here's your homework. If you haven't hopped on a blueprint call, if you're new to Private Money Club, new to these webinars, you're trying to figure out, hey, what would be good for me to get involved in? Hop on a blueprint. Take control of your money. This is what the team does. Nothing is cookie cutter. Everything is designed based off of what you got going on and where you want to go, right? So it's hard for me to say, hey, this is what I would do, because I'm not you. But if the team gets to know you, they might be able to help you take control. And the best way to do that is with the blueprint links that Jose has been posting. Before you leave, hey, Suri, remind me to be on Noah's call next Thursday, same time, right? It's 10 seconds to put it on your calendar. I hope to see you guys here again next week. We have accelerator coaching. If you're digging this and you want to work with me on a more intimate setting, one-on-one, that starts March 11th. Looking forward to it. And I can't wait to see all your names on your name tags in Salt Lake City, April 27th. If you're out in Salt Lake and you haven't bought a ticket to the Money Tank event yet, easy breezy decision there. Just go for it. It'd be great to see you guys at the Money Tank event. So this has been awesome, guys. You rock. Thanks, Tammy. Thanks, Phil. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you next week, if not sooner. All right, bye.